Okay, agenda item 1, apologies for absence. Democratic Services, do we have any apologies? Thank you. Agenda item 2, declarations of interest. Members are reminded of their personal responsibility to declare any personal and prejudicial interest in respect of matters contained in this agenda, in accordance with the provisions of the Local Government and Finance Act 1992 relating to the council tax, the Local Government Act 2000, the Council's Constitution and the Members' Code of Conduct. Note, members are reminded that they must identify the item under a number and subject matter that their interest relates to and signify the nature of a personal interest. And where members withdraw from a meeting as a consequence of a disclosure of prejudicial interest, they must notify the chair when they leave. Agenda item 3. Oh. Sorry, Councillor Andrew Barry.
Thank you, Chair. Item 29 is a strange one, really. It's a declaration of interest because on 264 you've published commercial detail about my company on there. Those are live rolling contracts and that should never be on there. I will be taking legal advice over it, but at this stage you'll have to declare an interest and withdraw.
Thank you. Councillor Lee Davis.
Thanks, Madam Mayor. This is about apologies. I had my hand up. Councillor Jeremy Davis.
Councillor David Hughes.
Yeah. Item 29. Also, my the name of the company is in there, which I work for, a manager. So
Okay.
I'll be leaving.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Hughes. Okay then. Agenda items 3 to 21, minutes of previous meetings. These items are to approve and enter into the record the draft minutes of meetings previously circulated to committee members with a request to confirm accuracy. Do we have a mover, Councillor Brown-Carter?
Thanks, Madam Mayor. I'm happy to move the minutes as set out from 3 to 21.
And do we have a seconder, please?
Happy to second, Madam Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Are there any comments in regards to the accuracy of the minutes? No? Okay, then we will take it to the vote.
Okay. Would all councillors who wish to abstain please raise the virtual hand on screen? All councillors not in agreement with the recommendation, please raise the virtual hand on screen. And would all councillors who are in agreement with the recommendation, please raise the virtual hand on screen. Can't see whether Gareth or Darren have voted.
Councillor Gareth Richards?
4. Can you explain why we are having a virtual vote rather than a...
Because the Constitution allows there to be a virtual vote, so both councillors who are not in attendance can actually vote at the same time.
No, I didn't mean that.
Oh, sorry. I was
within the chamber. It's
who weren't present in the meeting, so that'll be you and Councillor Roberts.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Agenda item 22.
Carried, Chair.
Sorry?
That's carried.
Okay, sorry. Agenda item 22, notice of motion, relocation of the acute stroke unit. Councillor Lisa Mitten, could I invite you to address the council, please?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We, the elected independent councillors representing the residents of Merthyr Tydfil, bring this notice of motion to express our ongoing concerns regarding the closure of the acute stroke unit at Prince Charles Hospital. Its relocation to the Royal Glamorgan Hospital, especially, of course, in light of new reports from residents about the severe challenges stroke patients are facing. Our key concerns, Madam Mayor, are firstly patient care. Recent reports indicate that stroke patients are experiencing delays in receiving critical care, exacerbating their conditions and increasing the risk of long-term disability. We all know about the speed that's needed for strokes, just to give some context to that. 2, capacity issues. The Royal Glamorgan Hospital continues to operate at full capacity, raising serious concerns about its ability to manage the additional patient load effectively. Thirdly, Madam Mayor, accessibility. The lack of proper infrastructure, public transport infrastructure to the Royal Glamorgan Hospital remains a significant barrier for families wishing to visit their loved ones, impacting on patient recovery and family well-being. Madam Mayor, we have a call to action, which is to call for an immediate review of the decision to relocate the acute stroke unit, considering the ongoing and new concerns raised by our community. The health and well-being of our residents must be our top priority. We cannot stand by while critical healthcare services are compromised and our community's needs are neglected. We urgently request that a letter is sent by the Leader of the Council and our Chief Executive to the Chair and Chief Executive of Cwmtaf Morgannwg University Health Board, requesting them to address the full Council at the earliest opportunity and to provide a comprehensive update on the situation and the measures being taken to address these critical issues. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Mitten. Councillor Geraint-Thomas, would you like to add anything?
Yeah, happy to support the motion.
Okay, thank you. Is there any questions from members?
No questions, Chair.
Any comments from members? Councillor Andrew Barry?
Thank you, Chair. Really happy to support the motion. I've had personal experience of the stroke unit, both at Royal Glam, what they could do up at Prince Charles, as my brother-in-law had quite a severe stroke a few weeks back. The weekend that he had his stroke, 13 stroke cases came into Prince Charles. Thinking back to the pandemic, that was a critical time when those sort of numbers were coming through, and those sort of numbers aren't unusual. Yet when we phoned an ambulance, 3 hours to get to him, then another hour to get to the Royal Glam. I think in an area such as Merthyr, when we went up and we spoke to the nurses up there, we sat in a room with 20 nurses all in tears because they knew how critical the service was. And to see it taken down to the Royal Glam and the chaos down there with the numbers that they're receiving down there, it's just unbelievable. What we're seeing here is the dismantling of the NHS in front of our very eyes, and it's not acceptable. It has to change. I applaud the notice of motion and fully support it. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Barry. Councillor Brent Carter, please.
Thanks, Madam Mayor. Just to speak very, very quickly, I'm not going to add much into it. I'm happy to write a letter to the Chair and the Chief Executive of the Health Board. I'll copy all members in with the letter and the reply once received.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Clive Jones, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I was a member of the previous Health Board when the stroke unit at Prince Charles was officially opened. The facilities they've got there and the staffing at the time was second to none. And it was opened because there was a demand for it for many years before that, particularly to cover the population of Merthyr Tydfil, the whole of the Cynon Valley, South Powys and Rhymney. Now, if you have a car, Madam Mayor, it's not so much a problem. But if you've got no access to a car, you're then fully reliant on public transport. In this case, it would have to be a bus. And if anybody's tried to get to the Royal Glamorgan on bus, I can assure you it's not an easy journey. Because depending when you live, you'll have to have either 2 or 3 buses to get there. Many of these people are older, elderly, visiting their relatives, and the more pressure we can put on the Health Board, I understand why I couldn't really support it, but I understood why they moved from there because of the staffing situation. But other services have moved down to Royal Glamorgan that used to be in Prince Charles and have never come back. So the more pressure we put on the health board to ensure when they are fully staffed up that this service comes back to Prince Charles, the sooner the better.
Thank you, Councillor Jones. Councillor Anna Williams-Price, please.
Thank you. I'm also happy to speak in support of the motion. When this decision was made in January, the Health Board cited an immediate and pressing challenge, which was the severe shortage of specialist stroke doctors, compounded by long-term sickness and absence, and the move was presented as temporary but essential, which was a difficult step taken to preserve life-saving services and ensure that stroke patients continue to receive high-quality care from experienced staff, even if that meant centralising services at one location. Now, 6 months on, our residents and our communities deserve clarity, and this decision, though made under understandable pressures, has real implication for patients and families in Merthyr Tydfil, and we do need to know whether the staffing situation has improved and whether there is a timeline for reinstating the acute stroke unit at Prince Charles Hospital, and also what has been the impact on patient outcomes in the interim. And therefore, I'm happy to support the call for a formal update from the Health Board to allow us to advocate for our communities. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Councillor Anna Williams-Price. Are there any further comments from members, please?
No more comments, Chair.
Okay, then should we take it to the vote, please?
Okay, Councillor Richards, we'll go back to the old-fashioned way of dealing with it. Are you for, against, or abstaining?
For.
Thank you. Darren Roberts hasn't joined. He has joined now, is it? Sorry. Councillor Roberts, are you for, against, or abstaining?
I'm out, officer. I missed the debate, so I won't be able to vote, I'm afraid. I came in right at the end when Councillor Williams-Price was speaking. Thanks.
Brilliant, thank you. That's carried, Chair.
Thank you. Agenda item 23. Outline transformation programme and outline annual delivery plan. To consider the report of the Director of Governance and Resources, Councillor Declan Salmon, could I invite you to address the Council, please?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. As everyone will be aware, the corporate vision for Merthyr Tydfil is acting today for a better tomorrow, which is at the heart of the transformation process and making sure that we're a council that's ready for tomorrow. The report on the outlined transformation programme can be found in Appendix 1, which is attached to the main report, and with the main challenges being identified as long-term financial sustainability, meeting changing customer needs, developing a responsive workforce, and further strengthening our governance. More information explaining what the challenges are can be found on pages 5 and 6 of Appendix 1. The corporate management team and the senior leadership team have worked together to address the challenges I've already mentioned, and there are 6 areas which will be focused on, which can be found on page 8 of Appendix 1. These areas of focus will be continually reviewed and adapted to meet the future needs of the Council. We will be establishing a Cabinet-led Transformation Delivery Board over the summer, which will also monitor the ongoing delivery and performance of our transformation projects. We will be working with local partnerships who have extensive experience and knowledge of working with public sector organisations who are currently facing financial pressures along with additional and complex service needs. At the heart of the transformation process will be the need to work with all elected members. We need all 30 councillors to pull together for the good of Merthyr Tydfil, because that's what's expected of them by the local electorate. At 6.2 of the report, it makes it clear that there will be an all-member workshop, which I can confirm will be held in September, along with engagement with scrutiny prior to the transformation programme and annual delivery plan being brought to Council later this year. As I have already said, we need all elected members to come along on this journey, and we will listen to what everyone has to say. And my telephone is on and doors open if anyone ever wants to come and speak to me. I'm going to go to the recommendation. It's 2.1, the outline transformation programme and outline annual delivery plan be approved. I so move, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Salmon. Do we have a seconder, please?
Thank you. I will be seconding the report.
Thank you. Are there any questions from members, please?
No questions, Chair. Oh, Councillor Lisa Mitten.
Councillor Lisa Mitten.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Dec, not sure, you know, if this is for you or for officers really, but when it talks about, I'm sorry, I'm trying to get to the page now. When it talks about, there it is, the programme timeline and the design stage, I can see that we've got member workshops, as you've just stated, in September, and obviously, yes, we should all join you on that journey, but it says workshops in June. Obviously, I was just wondering who are those workshops with in June? Is that with more sort of officers and departmental, or?
I believe it's officers in cabinet.
Right, okay, in June, yeah?
Yeah.
Right, okay. Thank you.
Councillor Geraint-Thomas, please.
Yeah, following the back of what Lisa just asked there, Dec, it says in the diagram there that there was, it might have already passed really, that there was meetings with the trade unions in May. Have they taken place?
Yeah, we've had an initial conversation with them just to tell them that the outlined transformation plan was coming today before members, and just to say that they will be involved in workshops going forward the same as all members will be.
Thank you. Too quick on the button, Matthew. A little supplementary question as well. It mentions in the report, I can't find exactly where it is, but it says about outside consultants in there. Can you tell me who those outside consultants are going to be?
It's an organisation called Local Partnerships, and they have a lot of experience of working with public organisations. I think I've mentioned it there in my introduction. They've got a lot of experience working with organisations, public bodies that are going through the same issues as ourselves in regards to financial pressures and other pressures.
So just to confirm, it's not
Yeah.
PricewaterhouseCoopers then? We don't want them back, do we?
It's not, but I will be honest, there is a cost.
Yeah.
And initially, I believe £15,000 has been paid to them. And we will look at that to see if it's value for money going forward. But obviously, everyone has got to buy into this, and everyone has got to be, happy with this going forward.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just to come in after Councillor Salmon. So just to explain, local partnerships are totally owned by Welsh Government. So they're the transformation and change experts within Welsh Government. So unlike discussions we've had before with PricewaterhouseCoopers, we've used a more surgical approach here in terms of looking at Pepperpot the help we need when we need it. So that's the approach we're taking to start with, and obviously we'll feed back to councillors as we go in respect to that.
Thank you.
Councillor Andrew Barry, please.
Thank you, Chair. Why did you feel there was no need to put associated costs to this with what's about to happen? I don't understand why there seems to be a lot of talking planned, but the critical costs aren't there.
I think Councillor Salmon has just outlined the initial costs. That's £15,000, and we will review that as we go along. We can stop the contract or we can extend the contract depending on, as Councillor Salmon said, the value for money that we're getting.
Yeah, I mean, those are the consultancy costs. What I allude to is, what's our budget requirement now? 170 million, perhaps? If we're looking to reduce those costs, we want to know what the starting point is and where you're aiming to go with this. And time is short. The settlement is not that far away. I believe it's going to be catastrophic for this authority. And if we're not addressing it through a transformation programme, what are we trying to achieve?
Does that come in there?
Yeah.
So Thank you, Councillor Barry. So obviously this is an iterative process, and obviously in terms of the challenge, the financial challenge for the organisation, obviously we would go in indicative position of that. That will be clarified as we go forward with obviously the settlement position. But in terms of the transformation programme report in front of you today, that is just to agree our direction of travel and how we're going to approach it. Obviously the financial update as we go in terms of what the programme of work will eke out from the organisation in terms of making us more efficient and effective. Those reports will be brought in front of council as they are developed, and obviously that will pair in then with the financial reports in terms of the settlement and how we look to close the budget as we go forward, as every year it always is.
Okay, and yeah.
Just to add to that, obviously when we spoke to members about transformation programme, when you had your financial workshop or the budget workshop earlier this year, I think I made it clear that transformation has to provide as a contribution to the medium-term financial gap going forward, but it won't be the only solution. So the corporate transformation areas that we will start to develop will be as much about making sure that we're delivering the best possible services and changing the way we work internally. So obviously the residents of Merthyr get a much better, improved, more accessible service. But it has to make a contribution to the medium-term financial plan, but it won't be the only solution to that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any further questions?
We have a further question, Councillor Barry.
Yeah. Just for clarification on that point, really, Sam. So the workshops, will that include finances as well?
Yes, so what we will do is the workshops will start to develop the projects, and the business change team then will work with the projects to determine what efficiency savings will come out of that, or what service changes or service improvements will come out of each individual project, and that will come back to you as members.
Thank you. Any further questions, please? Any comments from members, please? Councillor Lisa Mitten, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and thank you, Declan, for answering that as well. I think I was a little bit nervous at first because, I think we need to remind ourselves that this is a delivery plan. So setting out, as Sarah had said, what we want to achieve for the betterment, as Declan said, for the residents of Merthyr Tydfil, because, I was going to say Mogsy then, that's not professional, Andrew. Sorry, Andrew. We'll know, this is my world self-evaluation, transformation, etc. and things like that. So I always look for the devil in the detail because we need to prove that impact and the so what afterwards. So, I was a little concerned that there wasn't the detail in it, but inevitably that will come as we move forward with the workshops, etc. So just wanted to reiterate that, I guess, my own peace of mind as well. But thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Mitten. Any further comments, please?
No more comments, Chair.
Right, then we'll take it to vote then, please.
Okay, can all councillors vote, please? Councillor Richards, are you for, against or abstaining?
For.
Councillor Roberts, are you for, against or abstaining?
For.
Thank you. That's carried, Chair.
Thank you. Okay. Agenda item 24, local resolution process. To consider the report of the Director of Governance and Resources, Councillor Declan Salmon, could I invite you to address the Council, please?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Before I start presenting the report, I'd like to note that we will be amending the report as follows. Appendix 4 to Section 19, Paragraph 6, which is standards of behaviour expected from members, will be removed in its entirety, as it's already covered in the Constitution. Now I'm going to pass over to Simon Jones, who has 3 further amendments which relate to drafting.
Thank you, Councillor Salmon. Yes, apologies. What we've got is, you've seen the reason for the report. It's the reason for the review. It's in the report. But essentially, there's 2 changes. The first one is that you cannot at any stage fetter somebody's right to go to the Ombudsman, our previous policy did say that once you engage the local resolution policy, you could not then go to the Ombudsman. So that has changed, and in changing that, we've had to remove stage 3 of our local resolution policy, which was to go to a standards committee. So that's come out, but unfortunately, parts of the policy that is annexed to the report still refers to the stage 3. So if I can take you to page 121, paragraph 2.1. We need to remove, at the end there, it says the Chief Executive retains the discretion to refer a matter to the Ombudsman, or with the consent of the Chair, the Standards Committee under stage 3. We need to remove under stage 3 and put in stages 1 and 2. So those are the parts of the LRP that are still in place. So that's the first amendment. 2.2 refers to the same thing again against stage 3, so that needs to come out in its entirety. So we then move on to page 122, which is the next page. Down at the end, paragraph 5.1, it says there currently that, what does it say? So basically, it says that you can refer to the Ombudsman providing stage 2 hasn't been engaged. Well, that's wrong. So we need to stop the wording where it says at any time. So we're removing before stage 2 in the case of a councillor or the procedure is engaged. So those are the additional amendments which I think need to come out of the policy. Thank you, Councillor Salmon.
Thank you, Simon. Councillor Salmon.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Simon. Okay, I'm going to present the report. The Public Services Ombudsman for Wales reviewed all local resolution protocols last year because of concerns with protocols across the country. Because of those concerns, a monitoring officers group was established to make recommendations on a model local resolution protocol. Although a model local resolution protocol wasn't produced, a number of key concerns were addressed to ensure that there would be no confusion in the future. A revised local resolution protocol for the Council has been drafted in line with the recommendations of that working group, and that revised protocol was presented to the Council's Standards Committee on the 4th of April 2025. After considering the revised protocol, the Standards Committee recommended approval and adoption of the same by full Council. The local protocol for Merthyr Tydfil County Borough Council aims to promote good cooperation between councillors and officers and exemplary standards of behaviour, thus allowing the council to carry out its duties efficiently and professionally. Just to clarify, one of the most important points to come out of this was to highlight that complaints can be referred to the Ombudsman at any stage. The recommendation tonight is 2.1, the revised local resolution protocol, which includes the recommendations mentioned at the start of this presentation, be approved and adopted by Council. I so move, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Salmon. Do we have a seconder, please?
Thank you. Happy to second the report.
Thank you. Are there any questions from members, please? Councillor Jamie Scrivens, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. It was just a point of clarity. So obviously with the changes to the wording, so obviously, of course, anyone can make a complaint to the Ombudsman at any point, but does that still mean that the local resolution process, that first stage will go into submit an allegation to the monitoring officer? Does that still stand, or is that, if you've made an Ombudsman referral, would that be negated? Would it not happen? Just for clarity.
Yeah. I think essentially what it means is we can try and deal with very low type of complaints by the monitoring officer. If the monitoring officer can't deal with it, it goes to the leaders. And then it used to go to Standards Committee, but that's gone now. So yeah, at any stage, now, if you're not happy after stage 1 with the monitoring, well, first of all, you can go straight to the Ombudsman. Number 2, you can go to the monitoring officer, you can try to resolve it. If you're not happy, you can go straight to the Ombudsman then. And number 3, you can do it at any stage. Sorry, does that answer your question?
Yeah, that makes more sense. Just a process of escalation then. Yeah. So at any point you go above the stage, that stage would be, you wouldn't go for that. That explains it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Scrivens. Councillor David Hughes, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just to say, the amount of changes in the report, I think we should be having another report here and maybe have a line diagram which will show the direction where we go. So make it simpler, because I'll be honest, with all the changes that you've said, but yes, unless you're writing them all down, you can't take all that in. You understand?
It's a comment. It's a comment, yeah. I think that was a comment, wasn't it, Councillor Hughes?
It's a question, can we not take this report forward tonight because of the amount of changes? Because the thing is, it's a good report. I'm not saying it's not a good report, but the amount of changes here is, to take that all in with just Simon, then Jamie asking questions, I think, to be honest, we could, rather than rush us through to have it done right.
Okay, so is there anyone prepared? You're proposing that it be deferred. Is there anyone prepared to second? You'll second that.
Do you want me to comment as why I would second it, Monitoring Officer?
Are we on comments yet? Or
no, we're not.
Just
deferment. Yeah, Madam Mayor, if that's all right. I think that Councillor Hughes has a good point. I think inevitably, as a member of Standards Committee, we did express some concerns about the responsibilities of Standards Committee, and that ebbing away slightly. And I know our chair took that up at National Standards Committee, as did our Monitoring Officer at the time. But I think Councillor Hughes makes a good point. There's a couple of changes here, albeit the local resolution, I imagine, will eventually be accepted, plus taking away page 1, 2, 3 as well. So I would support him in deferring it, making those amendments. I do like the recommendation about a flow chart, because it does make it a lot easier. Simon and our Monitoring Officer know all these legal terms, but we don't for sure. So, I would be happy to support him in that deferment, Monitoring Officer, and bring it back. Whether that needs to be voted on as a constitutional thing for Council, or whether it can be brought back as an information report, I'll go by your guidance.
The actual report does need to be approved by full council. So my recommendation would be that it would need to be voted on, to be deferred, to come back, to be debated, to be voted on.
Then, Monitoring Officer, in support of Councillor Hughes, I would second that.
You would second that?
I would second that to come back on the 9th of July. I think, there's no, I imagine there wouldn't be any further debate, if you like, but I would be happy that it just comes back in its final form.
Can I just bring Councillor Salmon in a moment, please?
Thank you, Chair. As Cabinet Member, I'm happy for it to be deferred and come back. But what I would ask is that, because it's already gone through a Standards Committee meeting and it was passed at that, maybe the committee in future, or any scrutiny committee, could look at these things beforehand, because officers have written the report, it's been out there for a week, and it just, I'm sure there'll be lots of items in July, and it just slows the whole process down.
Can I help the Cabinet Member with clarity on that, Madam Mayor, just to support him, if that's okay? Cabinet Member, in fairness to members of the Standard Committee, the report wasn't brought in this format, and page 1, 2, 3 was not discussed and brought in Standards Committee. This is a different report. When I say it's a different report, I mean the manner in which it's been presented tonight with the additional information. It's different to the committee report that we had in Standards, just for clarity. I take on board what he said, and certainly we would do that in the future, as I did yesterday when I discussed this with the Chief Executive and our Senior Director. So I did that prior to meeting. Apologies, it was late coming in, but just for clarity for my colleagues on Standards.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Mitten.
We'll take that to the vote then, to defer it to the 9th
We'll
of
take
July.
that. Well, any comments first?
No.
No. We'll go to the vote then, please.
Councillor Richards, for, against or abstaining for deferment?
For.
Councillor Roberts, are you for, against or abstaining for deferment to the 9th of July?
I'm for.
Okay, that's been deferred to the 9th of July, Chair.
Okay, thank you. Okay, agenda item 25, forward plans, Council, Cabinet and Communication and Engagement. To consider the report of the Director of Governance and Resources, Councillor Declan Salmon, can I invite you to address the council, please?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This report today is presented to members to ensure compliance with the Council's constitution. A report was originally brought to the full Council on the 18th of December 2019, establishing a Cabinet forward work plan with the aim of keeping everyone better informed on Council business. Except for a lull during COVID, the Cabinet forward plan has been regularly published, but a need has been recognised for a full year look ahead, which can be seen within this report. This report identifies the process of how the Cabinet, and for the first time, the Council forward plans will be shared with councillors, stakeholders and residents. The appendices give more detail on the current priorities. By providing an indication of the Cabinet and Council reports expected for the year, it offers scrutiny more options when deciding what items they would like to call in and would provide improved opportunities for pre-decision scrutiny. Also within this report, a communication and engagement forward plan is covered, which has been designed to ensure everyone is kept informed on the progress and vision of the Council. There will be quarterly updates on both the Cabinet forward plan and the communication and engagement forward plan, which will be published on the Council website. The forward plans are not set in stone, so items can be added or changed, and the participation strategy highlights a number of opportunities open to the public to influence the democratic process. The Communication Department are currently running a campaign to raise awareness of the committee cycle and the topics which are being discussed in the hope of increasing that participation. As you know, we are in the process of rebranding Citizens Panel, although we are currently struggling to recruit members of the community. So we need elected members to push residents to join so that there is better representation. We are offering both youth and adult forms of the Citizen Panel as we hope to achieve better engagement with our younger generation who are our future. It can only be better for everyone if we give those who wish to get involved the opportunity to engage. As part of the Citizens Panel, the plan is to undertake face-to-face engagement in line with key topics referenced in the forward plans. We will also be using the national study template, which is provided free of charge by the Welsh Local Government Association and Data Cymru, and allows for postcode level data to be collected so that we, as a local authority, can better understand trends, residents' concerns and their needs. The recommendations are as follows. 2.1, the implementation of an annual Council forward plan and respective quarterly updates be published on the Council's website be noted. 2.2, the implementation of an annual communications and engagement forward plan to include the implementation of the Welsh Local Government Association National Resident Survey and the rebranding and redevelopment of the Citizens Panel be noted. And 2.3, the implementation of an annual council forward plan and respective quarterly updates be published on the Council's website be approved. I so move, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Salmon. Do we have a seconder, please?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Yes, I'll be seconding the report, and in doing so, can I just reiterate my comments that I made in Cabinet, that I really welcome this report, and particularly the ambition to rebrand and redevelop the Citizens Panel, because I think it's vitally important that residents are offered the opportunity to feed into the work of the Council and the Cabinet.
Okay, thank you. Is there any questions from members, please? Councillor Lisa Mitten.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just in page 126, 3.7, regarding the Citizens Panel, how often do we envisage the Citizens Panel, the two panels meeting?
I'll come in there, Councillor Mitten, on a quarterly basis.
And do we envisage that, Kerry, being voluntary or any remuneration similar to our scrutiny committees or not?
Voluntary.
Okay. Thank you for that. And then my second question is, when the chairs of each scrutiny were brought together to have a workshop to discuss it, etc. So I'm now referring to the landscape titles on page 129. There was a third column which said indicate which committee, and it said scrutiny, cabinet and council. Is there any particular reason the scrutiny column has been taken out to indicate what reports go there, or is it just because, for instance, the top one there, education, local authority government appointments, goes to cabinet? Is that the reason for it, so it doesn't show the scrutinies? Thank you.
come in? I'm happy to answer that. When we were looking at this and the information we shared with the chairs, we were just demonstrating what scrutiny would be using the forward plan for, and we thought we could start pulling them together. The scrutiny committees have their own forward work plans, and they have committees meetings to set those plans, and what they'll be doing is they'll be looking at these again. I think that was just an indication. It wasn't actually the final thing that we bring into committee tonight.
Okay, thanks, Anne. I think just my concern, and I think we have to give this a go, don't we? And then there you are. Sorry, I thought you were up there. Give it a go. I think we just need to give it a go and see how it pans out, and then reflect and have some feedback, etc. Because my concern is having a bit of a silo mentality, if I'm completely honest, as far as, you know, when we talk about, bear with me again, when we talk about page 130, education school balances, I've actually got a report on budget and balances that does come to scrutiny. So just some clarity around there. So I think it's just answering your point, you know, it's not a comment necessarily, just answering your point that I think we just need to work through it then and see how that pans out, because it should be in collaboration, I think, scrutiny, cabinet and council. Thank you, Anne.
Thank you, Councillor Mitten. Councillor Clive Jones, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Youth panel is mentioned there, which I fully support. Could someone tell me confirm the age ranges? Is it 14 to 25, or is it different?
I can answer that question. So in the appendices 4, the youth panel would be aimed at those aged 24 and under, with the adult panel then for those aged 25 plus.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Clive Jones. Sarah?
Yeah, but just to come back on your point, Councillor Mitten. So I think what we've done, because the scrutiny forward work programmes are in place and they're working, we've brought what's new. So, you know, the development of the cabinet one over the year and the development of the council one. But I take your point. If you actually think it's better, you know, to have all of them, you know, integrated, then we can certainly look at bringing them all back together. But we know that the scrutiny forward work plans are in place. They're working well. So, you know, this is just taking that model for cabinet and council. But we can certainly consider that.
Okay. Councillor Michelle Simmons, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just following on from Councillor Mitten's query about the citizens panel and the frequency and different things. When are members going to receive the full detail of what are you expecting from residents? Because if you're asking us to promote that to residents for that participation, which is welcome, I'm not going against the report or anything, but when can we anticipate to receive that information so that we're able to do that for you?
I'll come in there. We will keep obviously members informed, you know, every time that we're planning on holding a citizens panel, for you to obviously spread that information to your residents.
Okay, can I ask a supplementary question? So I'm assuming then the citizens panel is like different topics every time that you go out. Right, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Simmons. Councillor Jamie Scrivens, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And I think that adds to what Michelle has just said as well, and going back to Clive. But just to confirm, Clive, in terms of like obviously the young people, there's a child-friendly Cardiff model for a young person system panel in place, and I've spoken extensively, you know, with members of the team about this. And given my background, I'll be supporting how that model will look and what we can best do to engage children and young people. And it's also about using what's there as well for the young people. There's obviously like the reports that go from the Children's Commissioner's Office. There's different things that we can use and different aspects that we'll bring in. But just to assure you, Clive, we'll have a full child-right approach, and given my background, I'll be supporting the team and how we do that as well.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Scrivens.
No more questions, Chair.
Is there any comments, please?
No comments,
No
Chair.
comments. Then we'll take it to the vote then, please.
Councillor Richards, for, against or abstain?
For.
Councillor Roberts, for, against or abstain?
For.
Thank you. Councillor Barry? That's carried, Chair.
Thank you. Agenda item 26. Committee meeting cycle for the municipal year 2025 to 2026 to consider the report of the Director of Governance and Resources. Councillor Declan Salmon, could I invite you to address the council, please?
Thank you, Chair. A report was brought to the annual general meeting on the 14th of May 2025 regarding the cycle of committee meetings for the forthcoming municipal year. At that meeting, it was agreed that the cycle of dates for the Thriving Merthyr Tydfil Scrutiny Committee would be moved from a Monday to a Tuesday, and an amended report brought back to full council in June 2025 for approval. This is that amended report. The recommendations are 2.1. The committee cycle relating to the Thriving Merthyr Tydfil Scrutiny Committee for the 2025-2026 municipal year, as highlighted in Appendix 1, be approved. And the provisional committee cycle relating to the Thriving Merthyr Tydfil Scrutiny Committee for 2025-26 municipal year, is highlighted in Appendix 2, be approved. I so move, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Salmon. Do we have a seconder, please?
I'll be seconding the report, Madam Mayor.
Okay. Can we go to questions then, please? Any questions from members?
No questions, Chair.
Any comments from members?
No comments, Chair.
We'll take it to the vote then, please.
Councillor Richards, are you for, against or abstain?
For.
Councillor Roberts, for, against or abstain?
For.
Thank you. That's carried, Chair.
Okay, thank you. Agenda item 27. Appointment to scrutiny committees for the municipal year 2025-26 to consider the report of the Director of Governance and Resources. Councillor Declan Salmon, could I invite you to address the council, please?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The summary of the report: to approve the appointments to the reconfigured scrutiny committees in accordance with the rules of procedure contained within the Merthyr Tydfil County Borough Council Constitution. We'll go straight to recommendations. There's 2. 2.1, the appointment of members to scrutiny committees as contained within the report be approved. 2.2, the granting of delegated authority to the political leaders to fill vacancies that may occur during the municipal year, and these amendments be updated on the council's website be approved. I so move, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Salmon. Do we have a seconder, please?
Yes, happy second.
Okay. Any questions from members, please? Councillor Geraint-Thomas, please.
Yeah, just one. Now we know all the names that's going to sit on the committees. The only thing we don't know is the co-opted members. So how are we going to know, or how does the co-opted member know if they're going to be on the committee they're on before? Because now, obviously, there's 5 gone down to 4.
Yeah, so we've undertaken an exercise. So we've contacted all the scrutiny members, the current co-opted scrutiny members, and send them the remit for the committees, ask them if they'd like to sit on any of the committees, and generally what they've done is they come back and they said yes, they'd like to stay on the one that has the most similar remit to the one that they've got. So what we will do after we've done that, and we're also going to put in a 3-year term for these co-opted members. So after we've done that and we've filled all those posts, then we're going to be looking then to promote the vacancies and encourage people to sit in the vacancies. Everybody who has come back to us and has confirmed that they'd like to continue in their post as a co-opted member has been appointed. They've had a notification of that, and their details have been updated on the website. So they'll be invited to the next committee. The only issue we might have is if there are 2 people applying for the same post, then we may have to interview, or we will offer them a position on a different committee. And then before we go out to advertise for more. But they've all been contacted. We are in touch with all of them, and the majority of them come back and they've been reappointed.
Can I ask a supplementary on that one as well? Will attendance, past attendance, be taken into account as well? And going forward, if a co-opted member isn't attending, how many would they miss before perhaps they get dismissed? Then you can look to another member of the public who'd want to join that committee?
Yes, we've introduced a system for that as well. We haven't got it as long as councillors. We've got 3 months, and we will be in touch with them. And this is why we brought in that new rule that they'd be in term for 3 years.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Thomas. So no further questions. Any comments, please?
No comments, Chair.
No comments, then we'll take it to the vote then, please.
Councillor Richards, for, against or abstain?
For.
Councillor Roberts, for, against or abstain?
For.
Thank you. That's carried, Chair.
Thank you. Okay, agenda item 28, Invest to Save Building Control. To consider the report of the Director of Neighbourhood Services, Deputy Leader, Councillor David Jones, could I invite you to address the Council, please?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Triggered by the Grenfell tragedy and the Hackett inquiry, Audit Wales assessed how Welsh Government and local authorities were implementing the Building Safety Act 2022. Section 1.2 identifies 4 key recommendations from the report, and whilst progress has been made drafting an action plan and reviewing finances, new legal duties, tighter inspection registration rules and increased reporting have added pressure, which has led to a business case being prepared to hire an additional senior building control officer to support compliance and service sustainability. Section 3.2 further clarifies the 4 recommendations. There are now strict requirements in place regarding the types of building projects that registered building inspectors can work on depending on their registration level. Recruitment of a senior building control officer, as detailed in Appendix 1, would ensure compliance with KIPFA regulations, enable the generation of additional income by the Building Control Service, support the Building Control Service in fulfilling their statutory duties, and assist with workforce planning issues. The financial implications, as in Section 4, state that based on current staffing levels and working in accordance with KIPFA regulations, income targets are deemed unachievable. This can be overcome by increasing capacity in the service area. Also, more time can be allocated towards fee-earning work, leading to increased revenue from inspection fees, plan reviews and other services that the department offers. Section 4.3 shows the salary cost of a building inspector over a 4-year period, and should this be accepted, the additional budget will be funded from the budget reserve with future costs included in the MTFP. So I move the recommendation at 2.1 that the additional net budget requirement outlined in 4.3 in the report be approved. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Jones. Do we have a seconder, please?
Happy to second, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Is there any questions from members then, please? Councillor Andrew Barry, please.
Thank you, Chair. In terms of the money coming from the budget budget reserve, is this just going to stabilise the position, or do we see an income generation or increased income coming from this? And if so, what is it?
Yeah, there will be the potential to get extra income from this role, primarily because of the fact it'll increase the amount of chargeable hours that we have with the extra member of staff. But what it'll also do is free up some time with the building control technical manager, who's registered at a higher grade and can sort of assess more complex pieces of work, and there are already collaboration opportunities being explored with other local authorities to sort of get income from that.
Great. I'm a great believer in Invest to Save and Invest to Stabilise. Any indicative amounts?
It would be a little bit finger in the air, but we would hope that the service would come closer to sort of paying for itself over the MTFP.
Great, that's great.
Thank you, Councillor Barry. Councillor Clyde Jones, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I support the recommendations. On page 161, it refers that this is all approved, the salary costs of an additional senior building control officer. Now, I don't know how many of these animals are out there, but you're talking about a particular type of individual with quite a bit of experience. So when, if this is approved, when will the post be advertised? And are there a lot of senior building control officers out there?
First of all, I won't tell my staff that you refer to them as animals when I go back into the office tomorrow. But I think in terms of advertising the post, we look to get it advertised within the next week or so, subject to all the paperwork being ready to go. There is a shortage sort of across the country of sort of experienced building control officers, and it is one of the issues that's been flagged up as part of the audit. There's an ageing workforce across Wales. But again, I think that's why we've pitched it at a senior building control officer level, to put out the salary that's attractive enough to get in a high quality candidate that'll help us in succession planning for the future as well.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Craig.
Okay, thank you, Clive Jones. Councillor Geraint-Thomas, please.
Madam Mayor, just a supplementary question on Clive Jones's as well, Councillor Jones's question. You say there's a shortage of these senior building control officers. We know much work is coming down the train in Merthyr on housing, etc. So is it the time as well perhaps to look at an apprentice, look at apprenticeship and train our own and grow our own staff?
Yeah, we've previously followed the apprentice route within building control, and that apprentice has moved on to assistant building control officer post now, and we're looking to progress him further over the next couple of years. But there is also a mechanism through the local authority building control organisation where they've got their own apprentice scheme that we are looking at as an option over the next few months.
Fantastic.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Thomas. So, any comments then, please? Councillor David Hughes.
Yeah, I welcome this report, fully support the report, the excellent report. And I can speak from experience, these building control officers are top class. So, thank you. When you shall I bring it forward. So.
Thank you, Councillor Hughes. Okay, then, no more further comments. We'll take it to the vote then, please.
Councillor Richards, for, against or abstain?
For.
Councillor Roberts, for, against or abstain?
For.
Thank you. Yeah, that's carried, Chair.
Thank you. Agenda item 30, letter of representation 2023-24.
29.
Oh, I'm sorry. 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 Councillor Mitten.
Just, I double checked page 264. I misread the bold there that says companies, voluntary bodies in which members' interest declared. So I think it would be prudent to me, just at this juncture, I'm not going to leave, I'm going to stay because I have declared an interest through the proper channels, that I am a non-paid director at the Cyfarthfa Foundation, Stevenson George Charitable Trust and Merthyr Tydfil Institute for the Blind. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Okay, thank you for confirming that, Lisa Mitten. And, right, Lisa. Councillor Lee Davis.
Thanks, Madam Mayor. Exactly the same, but I'm Community Director of the 3Gs Development Trust.
Okay, thank you. Agenda item 29 then. Final statement of accounts 2023-24. To consider the report of the Director of Finance, Councillor Anna Williams-Price, could I invite you to address the Council, please?
Thank you. So this item is an important sign-off report which covers the final audited statement of accounts and the annual governance statement for the financial year ending the 31st of March 2024. As all members will be aware, we are mandated by legislation to prepare and publish annual financial accounts, and the accounts for 23-24 have been arranged following all the proper accounting codes and practices, and includes key financial statements such as our expenditure funding analysis, movement in reserves, balance sheet and cash flow. Over the past 6 months, the accounts have been audited by our external auditor, Audit Wales, and I'm happy to state that the assessment identified no material amendments to either the provisionally reported revenue or capital outturn positions. The Governance and Audit Committee reviewed the audited accounts on the 2nd of June 2025 and recommended them to this Council for approval. It is fair to say this has been a challenging process due to members of staff leaving the organisation, including the 151 officer at the time, It is important to recognise the work of the team in finalising the statement of accounts, so thank you to all those who have contributed. Alongside the accounts, we are also asked to approve the annual governance statement, or AGS, for 23-24, and legislation requires a review of the effectiveness of the system of internal control and governance arrangements every year. This has been prepared in line with the Chartered Institute of Public Finance and Accountancy Code of Recommended Practice and their Delivering Good Governance in Local Government framework. Importantly, this also reflects the Council's responsibilities under the Wellbeing of Future Generations Wales Act 2025. And I will move the recommendations, which are at 2.1, the audited statements of accounts for 2023-24, being the financial year ended 31st of March 2024, be approved, and 2.2, the annual government statement for 2023-24, be approved.
Thank you, Councillor Hannah Williams-Price. Do we have a seconder, please?
Happy to second, Madam Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Do we have any questions from members, please? Councillor Clive Jones.
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. Can I take members and officers to page 249 of the report? And at the top of that page is that there's a block covering 22-23 and 23-24. And it refers to items insurance claim, Pengunddee and the City Deal. In respect of Pengunddee, then there's a paragraph a bit lower down which reads, the Pengunddee provision, the provision consists of monies set aside for the cost of removing several thousand tons of residual waste on land at Pengunddee that was left by a previous occupier. Due to the volume and nature of waste, the actual timing for clearing the site is not certain. So the point of my question is that back in 22-23, the estimated costs there of removing this waste was 1,283,000. Is that figure the same now? Back in 25? And are there any reasons why this waste has not been completely removed?
Madam Mayor, if I come in and answer Councillor Jones's question, or part of the question anyway. So my understanding, and Craig will correct me if I'm wrong, that 1.283 million was the contract sum was allocated to the contract. Unfortunately, this is it's been going on for some time now. Myself and Garen actually met with NRW yesterday in respect of this. So there is still an ongoing, so whilst a lot of waste has been cleared, the operation is still ongoing and is still being they are still having issues with regards to permitting, which is delaying the complete clearance of the site. So there's a discussion, ongoing discussions between the contract holder and NRW as to continuing that permitting issue. And obviously, so our contract with them has been extended up until January next year. So we're still hopeful that they will clear within that term. But obviously the issue is still ongoing.
So, Madam Mayor, as a result of your discussions yesterday with our friends the NRW, have you any idea, the officers, from that discussion, when this work is going to be completely finished?
I'm hopeful that we will still clear the site, or the site will be cleared within the extension period that we've given, which is so up till January 26. But obviously that is dependent on NRW coming back with a workable permit solution in conjunction with the company. We are waiting for a further update from NRW, and myself and other officers from the Estates Department will be meeting with the company, the contractor, week after next anyway. But obviously it's still an ongoing dialogue, which we are unfortunately stuck in the middle of.
So the figure that's in there, 1,283,000, having extended it, that figure is going to be not changed.
I think this is where Craig comes in terms of what we do with the money position.
This is the provision we've set aside for the Pengunddee site. We've also got capital spend with regards to land reclamation as well in addition to this. So there will be additional cost to the provision that is detailed in the statement of accounts. but that is to be finalised.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Jones. And no further questions? Any comments from members, please? Councillor Geraint-Thomas, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Yeah, the report came to the Governance and Audit Committee a week or so ago, and Welsh Audit were in the room, and they gave us an unqualified opinion, which is the best they can do. And I just like to put on record, thanks. Through a very difficult year, we made a lot of staff leaving the organisation, and the staff that remained really knuckled down with the interim 151 officers we had in place to, get these accounts over the line. And they were praised by Welsh Audit at the Governance and Audit Committee meeting. So I just wanted to put that on record, and from us ourselves, thanks, and we left the organisation in a healthy state. Great.
Thank you, Councillor Thomas. Councillor Anna Williams-Price, please.
Thank you. It was a point of clarity, if I may, as there's been lots of discussion of page 264, which obviously relates to companies and voluntary bodies in which members' interests are declared. And I'm conscious that there are other members who are listed there who haven't stated their declaration of interest. I'm just wondering if we can receive some guidance on whether those remaining members are able to vote in this item, please.
Yes, Councillor Williams-Price, they will be able to vote on this item, having declared their interest. Yeah.
Declared, is it, Anna? Not those who have declared. Sorry, did I hear you right?
Just reviewing that list, I believe there's other members who haven't declared. I wouldn't want anyone to fall foul of that.
Obviously, that is a matter for them. They should declare if they have an interest before the vote goes ahead.
Thank you. Councillor Louise Minute-Vaux, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just to state that I work for Safer Merthyr Tydfil, and I'm also an outside representative for Citizens Advice Merthyr Tydfil.
Thank you. Councillor Geraint-Thomas, please.
Yeah, I only sit on the JOSC of the PSP. Surely I would have to declare my interest in that, would I?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh. Councillor Claire Jones, please.
Sorry, Madam Mayor. I am on one of the trustees in Safer Merthyr Tydfil, along with Councillor Bill Smith. And if I have missed that out, then I do apologise. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Jones. And please.
Councillor Smith.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, go on. What was it?
Councillor Bill Smith, please.
Mayor, can we have clarification on this? Because I've been on Safer Merthyr for many years and never declared once. So can we have clarification what we're going to clarify on? Because it's a charity organisation. There's no funding there. It's just a charity organisation. So nobody can get no money. So I know there's money there. It's their trust. We don't get nothing. We run it. I'm a charity organisation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are they declared on the register of interests? They are. That's fine. Yes.
Your noise, our noise. Can't we just want to clarify it?
Okay. Thank you, Councillor Smith. Councillor Gillian Preston, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm a trustee of the Taff Bargo Development Trust.
Okay. Councillor Lisa Mitten.
Sorry, I want to seek clarification because I think I may have opened a can of worms here, but I'm quite happy with my declaration. But my declaration and Bill's to support him is because we sit as trustees or non-paid directors. But Councillor Minute-Vaux has just declared that she's actually an employee of Safer Merthyr Tydfil. There's a significant amount of money that is given to Safer Merthyr Tydfil. And I know that where colleagues have been employees before, I know that my colleague Lee Davis had to declare that before, but I think you have to declare and leave if you're an employee. I'm just seeking clarification.
Okay. Monitoring Officer.
me a minute whilst I actually check.
In that decision making. The reason I'm stating that, for me to give you more context, is that we are non-paid trustees, charity members, directors, etc. But if you're an employee, you are paid by that company. On page 264, they've received 765,000. That's significant, as the others are significant. But I think when we look at our decks, then we have to consider if we're an employee. I'm just stating that. Thanks.
You can just bear with the monitoring officer for 2 minutes. I'm just going to move on while the monitoring officer's looking. So, Councillor Clive Tuvey, please.
Well, just to say, similarly, I'm a member of Kevin Rugby Club, but I've never ever been on the committee. And I think I have declared it as an interest.
Okay, thank you. I think what we're looking at now is actually being paid for this role,
right.
yeah?
In relation to personal interests, you must regard yourself as having a personal interest in any business of your authority if it relates to or is likely to affect any employment or business carried on by you, any person who employs or has appointed you, any firm, any person who has made a payment to you in respect of your election, any corporate body which has a place of business or land in your authority's area, contract for goods, land in which you have a beneficial interest, land where you're a landlord, any body to which you've been elected, must reasonably receive a compensation. Yeah, well, they do. I was just going through those.
Councillor Gareth Richards, please.
Yeah. Madam Mayor, it's a similar situation to the others. I'm trustee of Trearis Boys and Girls Club in a voluntary capacity, and Fir Tree Drive Centre is mentioned there. That no longer exists, or that has now folded as an organisation.
So can I just clarify, we're looking at someone who is actually paid within the role then, yes? Okay, if it's a voluntary position, you don't get no funding from it yourself, then that's, I believe that's fine. Is that correct? Right, okay. Councillor Claire Jones.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. It isn't, my concern is, I know you've just said that it is paid roles. I'm sitting here reading Merthyr Tydfil Leisure Trust. No, I wasn't paid by them, but you, as you very well know, Gail, monitoring officer myself, and are we okay with that?
By the council, you were the council's appointed.
That's fine. Thank you. Because under the circumstances, it just makes me slightly concerned. Thank you.
Okay, we clarified everybody's interest. Yeah, okay. Councillor Lee Davis.
Yeah, well, I worked for the Leisure Trust. I know, you know, it says 23, 24. I finished working from in 24. So
you
leave.
Were employed by them at that stage,
yeah,
weren't you?
Okay.
Okay. Should we go to the vote then, please?
Councillor Richards, are you for, against or abstaining?
For.
Councillor Roberts, for, against or abstain?
For.
Councillor Claire Jones? Oh, yeah. Lee, Kevin's gone. That's carried, Chair.
Thank you.
We need to press your bell or get them back in.
Yeah, I haven't got a bell. Can all members... Oh, is it? Oh, I didn't know I had a bell. I got a bell. I got a bell.
It's my side.
Who rang the bell? You.
Me.
Yes, for everything. Okay then, Let's move on to agenda item 30, letter of representation 2023-24. To consider the report of the Director of Finance, Councillor Anna Williams-Price, could I invite you to address the Council, please?
Thank you. This report regards the letter of representation, which follows on from the previous item, and is a crucial part in the completion and audit of our annual statement of accounts. The letter is provided to the audit in connection with an examination of the financial statements for the year end 31st of March 2024, specifically for the purpose of expressing an opinion on their truth and fairness. The representation is made both by our corporate management and those charged with governance, us as councillors. The letter itself is a fairly brief read, but fundamentally it confirms that responsibilities have been fulfilled in accordance with legislation, and Merthyr Tydfil County Borough Council has been transparent, fully open and above reproach in our actions. The financial implications relating to this letter are included within the Statement of Accounts 23-24, and I move the recommendation 2.1, representations regarding the 2023-24 financial statements be approved and communicated to the appointed auditor.
Do we have a seconder, please?
Happy to second the motion, Madam Mayor, but just to add a little bit more detail to that, do we suggest that the people who just declared an interest leave as well on this one, because the one follows the other one? We don't want anybody to get in trouble.
So you two are declaring?
1, 2, 3.
Do you wish to declare? So that's
It's 4 down.
That's Councillor Lee Davis, Andrew Barry.
Okay, we'll move on to questions. Is there any questions from members, please? No questions. Any comments from members, please? Councillor Declan Salmon, please.
It's just quickly. It is just following on from what Lisa raised in the last agenda item and followed on to this one. I do think Lisa raised good points. Don't want to get members in trouble, so thank you for doing that. But I think the legal department will need to email out to members to inform them exactly what declarations of interest means. And how to go about doing that, so as not to get themselves in trouble.
Okay, Councillor Salmon, thank you for that.
Yeah, just to say, Madam Mayor, I will pick that up with the Cabinet member. We will ensure that some information gets out to all members so that we've got clarity.
Thank you, Sarah. Okay, then, shall we go to the vote, please?
Councillor Richards, 4 against or abstain.
4.
Councillor Roberts, 4 against or abstain.
4.
Thank you. That's carried, Chair.
Okay, thank you. Okay, agenda item. Oh, got my bell. Sorry. Yeah. You've pressed it now. Okay then. Agenda item 31, counter fraud strategy and framework and corporate fraud policies. To consider the report of the Director of Finance, Councillor Anna Williams-Price, could I invite you to address the Council, please?
Thank you. So the last item from my portfolio is the Council's updated counter fraud strategy and framework for 2025-26 to 28-29. And at the heart of this report lies the Council's commitment to preventing all forms of fraud, bribery and corruption, whether these attempts originate externally or from within our organisation. It outlines the aims and objectives of our strategy, identifying potential fraud risks and detailed steps intended to support the Council's continuous improvements and resilience against fraud, bribery and corruption. It clearly identifies key roles and responsibilities and includes what measures will be used to identify success. In order to reflect legislative changes, we have reviewed and refreshed our anti-fraud, bribery and corruption policy, the anti-money laundering policy and the anti-tax evasion policy. And it's also worth noting that the new corporate fraud enforcement policy, approved on the 5th of March, is an integral part to these strategies. There has been a journey of improvement since the Audit Wales report Raising Our Game, Tackling Fraud in Wales in 2020, and this latest evolution demonstrates that we have the systems designed to drive and assist in developing a robust culture of honesty, integrity and clear opposition to fraud across the Council. Additionally, whilst it is difficult to estimate the precise value, we anticipate the effective implementation of this strategy and policy framework will reduce costs and save the Council thousands of pounds. Savings realised will be reported to the Governance and Audit Committee in due course. As such, I will move the recommendations, which are at 2.1, the updated anti-fraud, bribery and corruption policy, anti-money laundering policy and anti-tax evasion policy for 2025-26 to 2028-29 be approved, and 2.2, the updated counter-fraud strategy and framework for 2025-26 to 28-29 be approved.
Thank you. Do we have a seconder, please?
Happy to second, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Okay, we'll move on to questions. Any questions from members? No questions? Any comments from members? No comments? I will take it to the vote then, please.
Okay. Councillor Richards, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Roberts, for, against or abstain.
Oh.
Thank you. Councillor Scott Thomas. That's carried, Chair.
Thank you. Agenda item 32. Welsh Language Annual Monitoring Report, April 2024 to March 2025. To consider the report of the Director of Education, Councillor Gareth Lewis, could I invite you to address the Council, please?
Diolch, Madam Mayor. This report reflects on how the Council has continued to meet its statutory duties under the Welsh Language Standards as required by the Welsh Language Measure 2011. Over the past year, our work has focused on raising awareness, embedding the language into daily practice and improving consistency across departments. A major highlight was the launch of a pilot project called Siates Environment, which helped integrate Welsh more naturally into daily operations within 3 directorates. We've also strengthened our monitoring processes. For example, a new compliance tool is being introduced to give a clearer picture of progress moving forward, and regular secret shopper style assessments have helped track how well our services are meeting standards. While many areas showed strong compliance, some variability does remain, and targeted training and support is already underway to improve this. In terms of community engagement, events like Diwrnod Siamai and the successful presence at the National Eisteddfod showcase the Council's commitment to promoting Welsh language and culture. These events brought together councillors, officers, residents and local businesses in helping to build momentum and public visibility. The staff training opportunities and informal learning continue to get expanded, including e-learning modules, coffee mornings and the Welsh Word of the Week campaign. Data shows slight improvement in basic skills, basic language skills, about a third of the workforce still report limited or no Welsh skills, so there is more to do. Looking ahead, our next steps include fully implementing the new skills framework for Welsh, improving and tailoring training across departments, and ensuring Welsh becomes a consistent part of our recruitment, communication and daily operations. Overall, this has been a good year for the Welsh language within the Council, and we remain committed to building a Welsh language culture for both staff and the communities we serve. Madam Mayor, I move the recommendations at 2.1 of the report that the Council's Welsh Language Annual Monitoring Report for 24-25 be approved. Madam Mayor, diolch yn fawr iawn.
Thank you. Do we have a seconder, please?
Cyn I mi gefnogi'r item hon,
hoffwn i ddiolch i'r swyddogion am yr adroddiad gwych a chydnabod y cynnydd mae'n wneud gyda'r safonau iaith Gymraeg. A gyda hynny, hoffwn i gefnogi'r adroddiad hwn. Before I second the item, I'd like to thank officers for this great report and to praise the authority for continuing with the progress it's making with the Welsh Language Standard. And with that, I would like to second the report.
Thank you. Okay, then any questions from members, please? Councillor Geraint Thomas.
Diolch yn fawr, Madam Mayor. I think if the auditor was given an opinion on this, they would say ardderthol in Welsh. It's excellent. No, it's an excellent report. But the one question I've got is, while we were down the Eisteddfod, and it was a fantastic week to be part of that. Andrea played a major part. I think it was almost every day, and fair play to you. But while we were there, we were asked a lot of questions by the members of the public. And the biggest question we were asked by a country mile was, when are we going to have a Welsh secondary school in Merthyr Tydfil? Welsh Language Secondary School. Now, as an independent group, we were very supportive of it, and we started a feasibility study. Can we get an update of where we are with that school?
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't know if Andrew was going to. Sorry, Andrew.
Sorry. The feasibility study is currently going through council. It's looking at the possibilities of where the siting could possibly be around that. Obviously, that's linked into the Welsh Education Strategic Plan rather than the Welsh Language Strategy as such. But I realise that there are some different views forthcoming around the desire, need and when. It is within our WESP, and with the WESP is a 10-year plan. So we're working towards that.
So just coming on the back of Andrea's update, we are looking, obviously, councillors, we're looking to put in regular councillor briefings with a rolling agenda. We can add that topic to one of the agendas, and we can try and give you a more in-depth, up-to-date briefing if not.
Da iawn, Ellis.
Diolch.
There are no further questions. We can go to comments, please. Councillor Scott Thomas.
Diolch eto. I'm not going to go Welsh on this bit. I'm just going to keep it simple. I just want to thank Councillor Thomas for raising that question just now. It is vitally important that we do look at, obviously, a Welsh language secondary provision in this borough. As great as it is having, obviously, Rhyd y Waun in the neighbouring authority, I think we do definitely need to now address that we have our own here in Merthyr Tydfil.
Okay. Thank you. Councillor Michelle Simmons.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. A great report, Andrea. Diolch yn fawr. As a parent of 3 children who are fluent Welsh, it really is pleasing to see so much progress and successes in the report. I note that on page 441, the authority's good progress in meeting Welsh language standards and Welsh language 5-year strategy, which is great work by your team and everyone involved. I'd like to say a huge thanks as well to everyone within the local authority and elected members who attended and supported the Eisteddfod last year. It was a great platform to showcase Merthyr, so diolch yn fawr iawn.
Thank you. Councillor Geraint Thomas.
Yeah, it's a question really, right? But just a comment, but we'll get it. We'll take it in the round. But again, like I said, it was fantastic, and it was a great place to showcase Merthyr. You know, thousands of people came to our stand and wanted to see what was going on here. And I just hope going forward we have another stand at other Eisteddfods, because the marketing we're having this week, on BBC Wales, on the radio, etc., is fantastic. And the more we can spread the good work that we do in Merthyr Tydfil, the better.
Okay, thank you. Okay, no more further comments. Then we'll take it to the vote then, please.
Councillor Richards, for, against or abstain?
For.
Councillor Roberts, for, against or abstain?
For.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, agenda item 33, Regulation of Investor Powers Act 2000, to receive the report of the Director of Governance and Resource. These are for information reports only. And item 34, social partnership duty, to receive report of the Director of Governance and Resources. This is also an information report only. Agenda item 35, to deal with any other urgent business or correspondence. There is nothing. To receive communications from the Worship of the Mayor, I have none. I'd just like to say thank you all for attending the meeting and now declare it closed. Thank you.
How was that for you?
Give me a beer. Give me a beer.